Krish, just this afternoon we met with the Chief of Police of Luhansk. It was a very interesting and insightful conversation. We had to meet him, though, in a car park in a secret location because, of course, he can't go into his jurisdiction because there's nothing left of it in Ukrainian hands. He had a military bodyguard detail with him because he's a prime target for assassination. But he had an interesting assessment of what's happened to the towns and cities that he knows very well. He's from Severodonetsk himself, and his take on the Russian philosophy of war is to carpet bomb the towns and cities that he knows and loves and send the troops into the rubble. A Western official talking to us today said that the Russian advance is slow. It's moving at about between 500 metres and a kilometre every day. But that kilometre is a lot of rubble and a lot of ruined lives. Artillery has been the defining feature of this war, this constant artillery duel, if you like, all day, all night. And if it is a duel, the Americans have just given the Ukrainians a double-barreled, laser-guided pistol. We're about 9 miles from the front line in the direction of Popasna, a town now under Russian occupation in Donbass. The region we're in is surrounded on 3 sides. News that the US will supply Ukraine with sophisticated mid-range artillery has come in overnight. And we're en route to get reaction from the people who will ultimately end up using it. We're going to meet the commander of an artillery battery about 9 miles or so from the front line. To understand the significance of Joe Biden's announcement today, you have to understand the limitations of the hardware, the artillery that the Ukrainians are currently using. We catch a glimpse of an old Soviet-era multi-rocket launch system that is in use in both Ukrainian and Russian positions on the other side of the line. When firing the most basic type of rocket, it's good for ploughing up large fields and causing imprecise death and destruction over a relatively large area. Its practical range, about 13 miles. Over the last few weeks, Joe Biden has made some quite confusing off-the-cuff remarks, but this time he's writing it down. In the op-ed in the New York Times, he's setting out the American parameters for engagement with Ukraine. In the article, President Biden said, "We will provide the Ukrainians with more advanced rocket systems and munitions that will enable them to more precisely strike key targets on the battlefield in Ukraine." This is what he's talking about. A new military aid package which includes rocket systems and medium-range missiles with a range of 45 miles. It would allow the Ukrainians to hit Russian troops from a distance outside the range of Russia's artillery system. But, and it's a big but, the Americans are not giving the Ukrainians longer-range missiles, which can also be used on the same system. Hard to imagine anyone happier about an op-ed in the New York Times than this Ukrainian artillery battery commander. He will, most likely, be one of the people using the new system.
Всі зразки цього озброєння, які нам анонсував Джо Байден, вони всі стосуються ракет, реактивних снарядів, які є високоточними. Тобто вони не будуть просто накривати велику територію і все. Тобто це все одно високоточна зброя, яка, грубо кажучи, ми вистрілили, ми попали в ціль. Те, що ми зараз стріляємо, через іншу філософію, воно не є настільки ефективним, як новітнє озброєння.
The White House wants to strike a balance between helping Ukraine but not providing arms that could hit targets deep inside Russia and potentially spark an escalation in the war. Moscow, publicly at least, are not acknowledging the nuance.
Мы считаем, что США целенаправленно и старательно подливает масло в огонь.
Today we also met the head of Luhansk police. His forces helped evacuate 37,000 people from the region. 10 of his officers have been killed doing that, from places like Severodonetsk, Popasna.
But I think about 70% of Severodonetsk is destroyed. If we say about Rubizhny and or about Popasna, I think maybe this city is destroyed maybe 100. I think that Rubizhny is in Popasna. This is Stalingrad, but in now really time.
This man and his colleagues have the motivation to halt a Russian advance. And now, with these new missile systems, perhaps something of the means as well.